what's so funny is that, like, similar to Seventh Heaven, it's like, oh, they're like a perfect family. They're all like, they all have values. They're all like, moral. But the only way that the show can show that is by putting them into very difficult, uncomfortable, and immoral situations. So functionally, I mean, more shit fucking happens to the Greenes in this episode than probably happened to me or my family in 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're like going through it in this episode. And the central premise of the episode, the A story, is one of the funniest concepts ever for a TV show episode.
The episode is called What? I just got this. It's called What's in a Word? There's a little bit of a double entendre going on there. Let's just say the plot of the show, the plot of the episode is about a word that certain groups of people are allowed to call each other and others are not really, should probably not be using. Use your best judgment, but you probably shouldn't be using that word at all. Unless you have some friends who maybe you're like really close with. No.
And by the way, if you can guess what word Julian is referring to, I'm going to count to 3 and just say it out loud wherever you're sitting.
But more importantly, this show is an exploration of not necessarily why certain people shouldn't say the word. That is an element to it, but it's almost equally about why certain people call each other that word.
Sure.
And the short answer is no one knows why.
No one knows.
No one knows.
That's what we learned.
That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in one of these things.
It's very, very funny.
Fucking stupid shows.
Yes. In the show, young... What
Sheldon.
is the boy's name? It's not Sheldon Greene.
In the show, boy.
Young Nathaniel,
the redheaded nephew.
The redheaded
of
nephew.
Russ Greene.
He is on the playground and he hears his friend, who's a slightly older boy. And this boy is black.
LT
is his name. He seems to be a recurring character they added into Promised Land once the Greenes moved to Denver. He's one of their neighbors. LT is like dapping up his other black friends, and they leave, and he calls him the N-word with the soft A affectionately, as I don't know if you know this, but black people are known to do.
Yeah.
They say that to each other. They do.
I've seen The Wire.
This may come as a shock to the listeners of our show.
It certainly came as a shock to a lot of the characters on this show.
Yes, it did. And young Nathaniel hears this, and there's a really funny moment in the show where he basically, like, his eyes go wide as if he's learned, as if he's received a new piece of
Mind you,
knowledge.
we're watching this at 12p. It's like 4 pixels, and we can still tell his eyes lit up as soon as he heard his friend to call his other friend this word.
Yes. And it's clear. I mean, what do you think is going to happen next? Of course, there's only one possible thing, which is that in school the next day, Nathaniel is talking to his own black friend.
Yep.
And he says, like, bye, B. Bye, my B.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
He uses it as a term of endearment to his friend,
right.
Not understanding, the larger context of the word.
Right.
And he is beaten to a pulp by his friend, who takes great offense to this.
Yes.
Hey, if you do get invited, don't mess with Mary. She's mine. Plenty of fish in the sea. Okay, later. See you later, my What?
His black friend is very offended to hear his white friend call him that.
And the rest of this episode, they do not let Nathaniel off the hook.
Oh, man.
For better or worse. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I felt pretty bad for Nathaniel. And this whole thing felt like it could have been resolved in like a 20-minute conversation, maybe.
I felt so bad for Nathaniel.
And like
he did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Well, he didn't understand. He didn't even know what the word meant.
Exactly.
And they like make it gets so awful for him that he wants to like transfer schools.